when they lose that initial geyser because their opponent steals it. And they try to do their original game plan. They try to bend their build back with this very late gas, and the end result is just a very, very, very slow game. But what we saw Kiwikaka do is just continue to pump out just Stalkers and Zealots, very, very gas cheap units. And in other words, that gas steal by HuK was just 75 wasted minerals entirely. And I cannot believe the amazing control by Kiwikaka. That was unbelievable how he was able to keep pushing up, keep getting more units, and somehow broke the front.
And it looks like HuK has decided on Delta Quadrant for the next map. Now, Delta Quadrant, one of the new maps in StarCraft 2 here since the release of StarCraft 2. So we are going to be hosting that up, and we are going to be going to a map preview right now.
Delta Quadrant is one of the 2 new maps released at the launch of StarCraft 2 that we have here at MLG Raleigh. It is a 4-player map with spawn points at the 11, 2, 5, and 7 o'clock positions. Natural expansions can be found outside the main bases, towards the middle, with another expansion blocked by destructible rocks down a different ramp from the main. Cliffs behind this expansion make for a great harassment spot. 4 high-yield minerals exist on this map down another ramp to the right and left of the natural expansion. A lone Xel'Naga watchtower sits in the middle of this map.
And here we are going directly into Game 2 of the Grand Finals. Again, this is an extended series, so we are currently tied at 2-2. Whoever wins the next 2 games will be crowned the champion and get that $2,500 first place prize.
All right, so Delta Quadrant, again, like I was saying earlier, one of the new maps. What strikes you is the most important thing on this map in the PvP matchup?
Well, we have HuK spawning in the bottom right as the red Protoss. In the bottom left, we have Kiwikaka as the blue Protoss. And I think the most important feature is this backdoor expansion right here where the destructible rocks are. What makes it a little bit weird is that most players will one base, or in other words, they will rely on this one ramp to keep themselves alive, doing whatever they want to do. So with that backdoor expansions, it opens up some possibilities for Protosses to just use force fields to stay alive and eventually get a very, very fast early expansion, something we don't see too much in PvP.
And one of the other things that I really like about this map is a lot of the Protoss players have been utilizing this fact with the destructible rocks at those expansions. If you put a pylon on the outside of the base, you can in fact warp units onto the other side of that building right there.
Yeah, this is an excellent place to place a pylon, and wouldn't be surprised if Kiwikaka tried to pull that one off. We've seen again and again his Stalker Zealot pushing is brutal, and he's able to break seemingly impenetrable defenses with having pylons warp into the opponent's main, and exactly what you pointed out is one of those locations. Kiwikaka and HuK both seem to just be continuing to chrono boost. HuK, interestingly, did a cross-map scout, but now that he's found his opponent is not at the top left position, it looks like he is going to the correct location in the bottom left.
There goes the 13 gate going down for HuK. Kiwikaka is going to be going for a 14 gate. Not too much of a difference, but pretty much, I mean, every little minute detail counts here in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, Kiwikaka being very responsible about chrono boosting a lot. Already under 20 energy, can't even chrono boost again. HuK continued to chrono boost himself, getting also a late gas. Looks like it's going to be a 15 gas. Now, HuK has shown a lot of versatility. He used to just be the player who would only ever chrono boost probes and only ever try to get a big economy in the early game. It does look like he is doing something similar to that this game, but we've seen him suddenly be a lot more aggressive in this tournament and take some amazing wins.
Looks like Kiwikaka had an idle probe there for just a second, but he went ahead and put it back to work, putting probes back into that assimilator, and a quick gas.
Kiwikaka stealing the gas of his opponent and taking his own second gas, so this is going to be a big deviation already in the early game.
There's not going to be any counter gas stealing here in this match like we saw in the last one. We do have no units actually coming out of that Go 8. Cybernetics Core has gone down for Kiwikaka, and HuK doing the exact same build right now with the Cybernetics Core going down. But remember, he is only on 1 gas compared to Kiwikaka's 2 at the moment.
And what's interesting to me is that Kiwikaka is the player who seems to be versatile, who seems to really like utilizing one geyser plays and being aggressive, and HuK is more of the tech-oriented player in this matchup. But it's a funny reversal to see that Kiwikaka is actually the one who has the gas advantage, and it looks like he even waited to put guys in gas. Didn't really need it, just didn't want to get gas blocked himself.
Now, you talked about in Game 1 how it doesn't seem like that probe is chipping away too much at that pylon, but if you go look at the pylon in Kiwikaka's base, he actually got it down to 157 HP. Doesn't seem like much, but if that pylon is going to be focused down later, it's going to have that much less HP to deal with.
And it looks like we have Warp Gate and Hallucination queued up for Kiwikaka. That's very weird that he would queue that Hallucination upgrade up, as that is a waste of 100 minerals at this point and 100 gas. I mean, that's really insanely early to be getting that Hallucination. I mean, he has no reason at all to queue that up.
Yeah, that might have been a misclick, but he might just be trying to throw his opponent off someone. I mean, hallucination obviously creates a hallucinated unit, and you can kind of hide your tech in that sense. You can show one thing and actually have another. It looks like we do have two stalkers trading some blows there in the middle of the map. HuK's actually going to be the one retreating as Kiwikaka does get a couple extra shots in.
And it looks like HuK is responding very reasonably by just getting the warp gates first, relying more on zealots and stalkers, avoiding the sentries, avoiding the tech structures, and Kiwikaka again adding on more warp gates of his own, but I'm very, very surprised again at how early he's getting this hallucination. In general, queuing things up is a bad idea in StarCraft 2 because this 100 is minerals that could be spent somewhere else. You should wait until the warp gates finish to start that up.
Yeah, he still has not canceled. It looks like the warp gate research is about to finish, and a Stargate is going to be thrown down from HuK.
Now there is a very unorthodox play in this matchup, getting a fast Stargate. Don't know if he's going to be going for Void Rays, where he's going to be relying on Phoenixes to be those little ninja-esque units, but either way, HuK, again, the master of one basing, doing a lot of expensive action here, having 3 gateways and a Stargate out.
And it looks like Kiwikaka is going to go ahead and allow, oh no, there's the cancel on hallucination, so I'm glad he saw that. Definitely wasn't going to see any hallucinated units this early on.
So it looks like that was a misclick by Kiwikaka, very uncharacteristic. He generally has quite smooth hands. Apparently the pressure is kind of getting to him in these later stages. And here is HuK with a Phoenix. What an awesome play. Huge variety here. Yeah,
we do have a robotics facility coming down right now for Kiwikaka, and it looks like both armies are going to meet here in the middle of the map.
And it looks like the stalkers from Kiwikaka are sliding underneath. They're going to be able to come up from behind. And look at this, Kiwikaka target firing the stalkers. If he can take out the stalkers, then he can micro against the zealots easily. And look at that, great control by Kiwikaka. And now it is just all stalkers against zealots, and he is doing an amazing job. And Kiwikaka, again, with the huge pushing with the stalkers, and there's really not that much that HuK can do about it. He needs to get stalkers of his own and defend up this ramp.
Yeah, that was great control. He actually did not get hit once from those zealots, and here we go. Kiwikaka going to try to run up the ramp. Those zealots are going to allow a meat shield there to go ahead and actually repel the attack from Kiwikaka. Does he have anything coming out of that robotics facility? An observer right now. I do not believe any immortals are on the field.
And it looks like that one Phoenix is getting a chance to poke around in the base, and this is going to be very confusing for Kiwikaka. Sometimes players get hallucinate so they can get the Phoenix to do the scout, but instead this is an actual real Phoenix, and Kiwikaka is going to keep trying to push up, but HuK is getting a big army, lots of zealots, lots of stalkers. This Stargate hasn't gotten the chance to do too much more. Oh, look, more Phoenixes coming out for HuK. Very interested to see how these are going to influence his later army mixes.
We talk a lot about nerves here in StarCraft 2 and land jitters. HuK actually had his energy sitting at 100 just a couple seconds ago. He ended up chrono boosting another Phoenix coming out right now. If you go over to Kiwikaka's Nexus, he's sitting at about 40 right now, so nothing too major, but HuK definitely should be utilizing that chrono boost.
And this is a very awkward spot right now. For HuK, for Kiwikaka. He's getting a robotics bay, but more Phoenixes are being made. And look at this, this one little observer by Kiwikaka is going to allow him to try to pick off some of these units on the outskirts of the ramp. With these Phoenixes, you have to be careful though, because if one of those stalkers advances a little bit too far forward, it can get lifted up by that graviton shield.
And here comes a nice observer there on that ramp. He's going to be able to snipe some stalkers there. A heavy zealot army right now for HuK, and that's just great use of the observer there, and now he's actually broken up into the ramp. No, he's actually going to retreat back. He's just scouting around right now with that observer.
One Colossus coming out right now for Kiwikaka, but gosh, playing right into HuK's hands. HuK's getting all these Phoenix, and Phoenixes are great against stalkers. Stalkers' biggest advantage is that they are fast. They can get in there, snipe units, and back out again, but not if they are lifted up in the air. So it looks like HuK is continuing to make Phoenixes. He is just hiding them in the top right side of his base, and oh gosh, Kiwikaka exploiting every little advantage he can, picking off these pylons, and oh, and here comes a big force field, and it looks like he's going to lift those up. Oh, what amazing Phoenix usage. 3 free stalkers here right now. Looks like this stalker might have to get lifted again. Yes, there it does indeed get picked back up. Looks like Kiwikaka is in an extremely awkward situation right now.
Yeah, Kiwikaka did not expect that at all. He lost about 4 stalkers there. He was trying to get down that pylon, didn't even get it to all the shields off, and the Colossus is out on the map right now. Nothing else coming out of that robotics facility, but he does have the extended thermal lance being researched right now, about 50% done, and he's actually falling back with his army.
And look at these unit differences. Both of them have about 6 or 7 stalkers, but look at this. HuK with 16 zealots against the 5 zealots Zealots of Kiwikaka. Kiwikaka having to back all the way to his main, killing off this forward pylon. All these Phoenixes are going to annihilate that big Colossus if they do get the chance to poke up to it. And also, Phoenixes are way faster than Vikings. They do have the chance to run in there, pick off the Colossus, and right back out again.
HuK is looking around with those Phoenixes, checking to see if his opponent did take down those destructible rocks. Is he going to be lifting any units right here? He does see the fact that Colossus is out on the field. He's actually pushing up the ramp right now. Here comes the big
and
fight.
There's the Colossus taking up a huge amount of damage, and there's the Guardian Shield. This Colossus is already down to half-life. There are just way too many Zealots here for HuK. Looks like the Colossus is going to go down, and here's the huge mass lift. The Stalkers of HuK are doing huge amounts of damage, and there are all these Zealots pushing the remaining Stalkers back. This Phoenix mix by HuK was an absolute brilliant choice as he was low on gas at the start. And good game, HuK with a very decisive win in that game 2.